You're busy, you've got a decent practice, but nobody wants to be decent. You want to be great, and you want to have a great practice. So how did the most productive, profitable dentist in the nation balance real life, work, and profits, and somehow make it all seem fun? Well, it comes down to simple, everyday practices. So grab a lunch, join us as we chat with top clinicians and influencers to discover their formula for uncommon success. Are you ready? Then it's time to explore everyday practices.
Welcome to Everyday Practices. This is your host, Regan Robertson, President and CMO with Productive Dentist Academy. I have a special guest with me.
Who is our special guest?
It's you, Chadwick.
Boom.
So I asked my co-host, Dr. Chad Johnson, to join me exclusively today and not have a guest on because I really am itching to have an update.
We're shop talking.
Don't know. We've been having the PPO versus fee-for-service conversation for, 2 years. And recently, you went ahead and pulled the trigger and decided to make the leap and switch over into full fee-for-service, right, Chad?
That's right. Yeah.
I wanted our listeners to hear how that's been going, especially through COVID. If you could, let listeners know why you decided to make that change, when you made it, and let us know how it's been going so far.
Yeah. So I started by looking at the man in the mirror and I was asking him to make a change. Michael Jackson, 1987. Sorry, throwback. So when we were evaluating why I was raising rates every year, but still becoming more and more unprofitable, by the time I was able to articulate that, I took it to a team lunch. And I asked them, instead of told them, why are we frustrated with insurance? And we wrote it down and we did a collaborative, lunch effort where their goal was to, tell me what I guess what I wanted to hear, but we wanted to put a pen to it and articulate why insurance was not our friend. And then I was able to say, why don't we change that? Because, for example, you know how I haven't given you guys a raise in a while, and you know that I know you want a raise, and I hope you know that I want to give you a raise. So if Delta and other insurance companies, Delta was our last one, so this was, the nail in the coffin. So it's nothing particularly against Delta, but this was the last one in our conversation. If Delta is raising their rates, but not increasing their reimbursement the last 12 years, then that building on the other side of town that they built, that's all pretty. I suppose what's happening is in the write-offs are a nice way of putting that they're charging us. I mean, we are being charged by the insurance company. It just sounds cute because we call it a write-off. Like it's just magical money that's in the thin air. But once we defined that our collections shortfalls for paying the bills and being profitable and therefore lacking our ability to be generous was because we had so many write-offs, or in essence, because we were being billed by the insurance company and forced and mandated to not collect on money that was due to us because we had a contract with them. So what's that contract say? Sorry about this diatribe here, but this is kind of where we went with it. But so what does that contract say? We are willing to accept less than best for us to give you the best and the patients the best, and we get less than the best in return. And by getting less than the best, we're now in a deficit on the finances to be able to do what we need and want to do out of, sheer minimum and then generosity. So, for example, wouldn't it be nice if we could have a free dental day? And we do those occasionally, but that has to be when we're so profitable that we can afford to take time off and volunteer to do that. Correct, everyone? Right. And so once we started figuring out, okay, we wish that we could be paid our full fee, I asked the question to the team, would you rather get paid 60% by 100% of the patients, or would you rather get paid 100% from the remaining 60% of the patients that we get? It's the same number. And that's why when we were talking about it, I told them, we've been playing the volume game, and the more patients we see, and now with PPE stuff questioning, looming over our head about that, that's actually when I pulled the trigger, was in March. So when all this was going down, I said, that's it. When everyone's zigging, I'm going to zag. We are going to get rid of our contract that says we're going to agree to get paid less than their best. And this is also a test of loyalty. Patients have loyalty to their dentist. Patients do have loyalty to their insurance company. Now, the question then becomes, which do they have more brand loyalty to? The dental insurance or to this office? We are the buy local. We're the office that, everyone's talking about, you should shop local, you should buy local. Delta is not, necessarily local. It's a national company with statewide, and the same thing with the other insurance companies. So we're going to find out how many people are more loyal to us than to Delta. And we had already practiced by doing this with other insurances. You can either start with the insurance that you have 50 people with. I mean, because what are you going to get decimated that half leave you out of 50? So you're going to lose 25 people. So what? And
and back up a little bit too, because you worked on your marketing. One of the paradigm shifts is seeing insurance as a marketing effort for you.
That's right.
In the finances, as you're switching that over, you can see. So there was a journey towards pulling the trigger moment, right? That involved marketing.
Yes. So we primed the pump by marketing, but then the problem is I'm paying to market to get patients that I want. And I'm also paying indirectly to have an insurance write-off. So that's the fee that the insurance is charging me. So that way they can send me patients that might not need anything. So financially, I should say, as people, they might be great patients. They might be the most fun patients. They might have the healthiest mouths, but we're there to solve problems. And if you fill your whole patient pool with 2,000 patients that need no treatment, you're not going to have a healthy practice. Now, that you have a healthy patient pool, but you don't financially have problems to solve. We are paid, in our economy, we're paid to solve problems. Dentists are paid to solve teeth problems, mouth problems, stuff like that. But we're all paid on solving problems. And if we're not solving anyone's problems, then we're not getting paid. And so you can have 2,000 really healthy patients, yay for that, but it's not necessarily doing us any good. So we want patients that have problems. And like Dr. Bruce Baird says, he markets to train wrecks. I'm not necessarily marketing to train wrecks because I'm not as good as him. I'm in progress of getting as good as him, but I can understand why he wants to market to that, because he wants to bring those kinds of patients in. So right. when we market to the new patients that are needing implants or needing bigger problem solved, we're looking at trying to get the patients that we want. Delta doesn't care about sending us, hey, this would be a really good implant case to send to Chad. Why don't we send him this case? This will be perfect. It's we're going to send him this nice family, but that doesn't have any problems. So Delta and other companies they're not trying to find you the kinds of patients that you want. So you have to prime the pump by, marketing towards the patients. So I've had the, PDA marketing group for, I don't know what it's been now, 4 years, priming the pump. And now I'm double paying. So that's double no good. I'm paying marketing to get the kinds of patients that I want. Yay. But I'm also taking a 30 to 40% write-off for the Delta patients. And they're just sending me filler. They're sending me hygiene filler. And it's nothing personal against those people, because, those people are nice people and all. And I want my hygienist to have, happy mouths and everything like that. But it's not priming the pump with the kinds of problems that we're trying to solve. So then the question becomes, do you want to stop marketing and getting the patients that you want? Or do you want to stop marketing through Delta by having them send you the patients that they want to send you, and you pay a 30 or 40% write-off?
So you've made this transition through COVID.
Yes.
And how do you feel about it today?
I would do it again.
Would you do it again?
Yes. And yes, as much as the listener is nervous about the very thought, I mean, it's almost a cowering fear that we say, I would hate to rip the Band-Aid off and leave, a big insurance. And I'll share this, like my patient pool is 75% Delta. So, if someone says, well, I'm sure that he's not, his Delta must have been 10% of his patient population or something, like, no, it's 75%. And in the last couple months, I think last month we lost 67 patients out of, 2,400. And the month before was 25-ish, 24, 26, something like that. So right now is a great time to do it because patients are having a tough time transferring. If your state is not open and you're thinking about it, instead of being paralyzed, pull the trigger and do it right now, because you have 60 days for Delta. So other insurances is 30 days, and you could still be closed for another 60 days. God forbid, but let's just say that you're now the day that you open, and this is exactly what we did. We did this March 25th, and then by May 25th, 60 days later, we were off of Delta, our last PPO. So when we opened again, the next thing that people know is we're no longer participating in that. Then you have the PR move that you have to answer the question why. And we, that's a tough pill to swallow, because we have an answer that we like to say between dentists of why that is. But then, the patient doesn't care that we want to get paid more. That sounds greedy. But the fact is the insurance company has wanted to be greedy, and we haven't seen any profit or increase in profitability from taking the insurance company, but you can't say that. So what we did was we said, here's the problem. We've been trying to, to make it more solvent and to make the business more profitable. And the trouble is when we raise the rates, because the insurance people, you don't end up increasing the fees because they're price inelastic. Then we're in essence asking the uninsured people, the retirees in essence, to subsidize the insured people. It should be the other way around. And that message kind of goes over well. You have to be able to say it better than I do, and I don't leave it to me to say it.
Well, and we can leave some to the imagination too, because I know visuals help. And you and I are doing a longer webinar coming up July 21st.
That's right. Sponsored by Clear, Kleer. That's right. Yeah. And so, hey, what time of day is that? I marked it in my calendar. I forget.
7 p.m. Central.
7 p.m. Central.
Central. Yes. Okay. CDT.
That's right. Daylight. CDT.
When do you switch to CST?
When? Oh, I don't know, because they changed it, but it should be like October.
Oh, okay.
When daylight saving time is over.
Right. Fall back, not spring forward.
That's right.
Yeah. So July 21st, and you'll be going, I will be grilling you on a much deeper level on how exactly you went through and made this change over the last few months, and how you talk to your team, but not just your team, but your community. So the PR, you made some really clever PR moves, I think.
We did. For example, we lowered our rates. So what we promoted, for example, was, that we decreased our fees. So when people say, well, this is probably going to end up costing me more, we go, well, the problem is when we were able to go out of contract with Delta, now we're not bound by that contract. In fact, we're an unrestricted provider for Delta, meaning that we don't have any restrictions. Yes. And we're basically just trying to take advantage of the language, because they have set all the rules on the language. Oh, you're not in network. It's like, what is that, a legal term? No, it's something they've developed, and you have to play within their cool club party rules. And
unrestricted sounds a lot better.
Yes, we're an unrestricted provider for Delta and for a lot of other insurances. And there's plenty of patients that still come to us with that. They're plenty satisfied. In fact, we've found that on average, someone with a plan like yours ends up paying $7 per cleaning more. And so, if that's not worth it to you, I mean, you can look around for another dental office, but the fact is we're always willing to have you come back. So we're hoping to retain you. If you do need to, search for another dentist, we totally understand. But at the same time, lots of people from your workplace and nearby us that with your insurance come to see us. And if you do leave and you're unsatisfied, we're always welcoming you back. Stuff like that. But here's the other cool thing. When we decreased our fees, we decreased our fees by 25% once we became an unrestricted provider for Delta, which now means that we've helped make it a lot more affordable for the retirees and the uninsured people. And if anyone has a qualm with that, I mean, that's their, and then they'll move on. And guess what? I've had 67 last month out of 2,400. My concern from the beginning that I told my staff was, if we're going to lose 40% of our patients and retain 60%, but we're still getting paid 100% of that fee, that's still a win. Well, I haven't lost 40%. I've lost, 4%, 2%. So in other words, in the end, a year from now, I might have lost 10%, but keep in mind, right, it's not been half of my patients. And what's cool is at the end of the year, even though I've decreased my fees by 25%, at the end of the year, when I increase my fees by 6%, I'll have increased my profitability by 6%. Every other the year that I've increased my rates by 6%, it's increased my profitability 2%. So then the next year I raise my rates 6%, only to get 2% more. Why? Because 75% of the patients are inelastic to price change because they're locked in by Delta, who helps protect them. And of course they give brand loyalty to that, but some people are going to stick with you. And empirically, at least in my office, in my culture, as we've practiced this insurance by insurance over the last couple of years, we're only losing a small margin. And my hope is that after a year or two, we'll have gained those patients back, or at least some of them, recaptured them.
Wow. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate this update. And I think you got the train going really, really well. And we're up to speed now. So if you hear more, choo-choo, get on the Chadwick train. July 21st. I'm going to interview you more in depth, and you'll bring all the fun, sexy slides.
Oh, I can't wait. I hope that is a nice little intro to the why. And then now we need to talk about the how. So join us with Clear for the webinar on July 21st.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chad, for being on air with me today.
Oh yeah. Good seeing you.
Hey, before we go, any updates on any eggs or bacon you've eaten recently?
Oh, shoot. No, I've been deficient on eggs and bacon, and I would seriously take both. It's been a while. It's been too long.
Breakfast for dinner. It's time for breakfast for dinner. My grandma used to do that for me.
I love that. My mom used to do blueberry pancakes with bacon and eggs too. So yeah, spectacular.
Breakfast for dinner, everyone. See you July 21st, 7 p.m.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bring your lunch or take us to the gym again next week to improve your everyday practices. Also, subscribe on iTunes, follow us on social media, and sign up for our email list. Now get out there and win with everyday practices.